Hi everyone, so I'm doing another book tag, and this is the Playing With Your Emotions tag created by Padfoot and Prongs07. Be sure to check out her channel and subscribe if you have not already. She's an awesome girl, and she created this tag only a few days ago, I believe, and it's already doing the rounds. It's very popular, so yeah, it's very simple and straightforward. I'm bending the rules a little bit only because I think it's meant to just be one book or one series per emotion, but for me I can't contain myself with some of them, so yeah, I've added a few. Okay, so what book makes you happy? Well, obviously there's going to be a lot of options for that, given that I tend I only really keep books that I enjoy, so if I read a book and I don't like it very much, I'm not going to keep it on my shelves. I'll typically give it away. So, yeah, lots of books make me happy, but certainly one of them would have to be, well, series, obviously, would be the Harry Potter series, because that goes without saying, because it's Harry. But to be fair, Harry really takes you through almost all of the emotions listed here. The series does, over its course, but certainly happiness is something that Harry brought into my life, so Harry for sure. And without a doubt, the Anne of Green Gables series, with a bullet, makes me very happy, especially the first few novels. Probably the first 5? Yeah, first 5 especially always make me very happy, but of course there's a great deal of sadness in them as well. But happiness, just getting to know Anne Shelley and having her in my literary life has made me happy. And then if I'm going to pick a standalone book that occurred to me, I thought that this one might be good, and it's Pink by Lily Wilkinson, because I just really friggin' enjoyed this novel, and it made me happy in that it felt like the kind of book my teenage self needed and would have loved, and it would have really been of assistance to me back when I was a teen, so I'm just appreciative that it exists at all, and I really had a good time reading it. So that one. The next one is What Book Makes You Sad? Now, there's plenty of books that have upset me and made me cry. One of them certainly that I thought I'd pick because it's a standalone is Checkers by John Marsden. If you've read John Marsden's work, then you know that they can be very upsetting. He's most known for his Tomorrow series, but Checkers, it's a simple, really short book, but it really tore at my heartstrings, especially at the end. So, yeah, that made me cry a great deal. And I thought I had another one picked out here. Nope, okay, it mustn't be here then. Alright, but yes, that's certainly one of them that occurred to me was Checkers. What book makes you angry? So many! See, I've still got some series in my YA fantasy stuff that I don't necessarily know if I want to keep once I'm finally, I've made a vow with myself to finish the damn things even though I don't want to, so I'll list some of these. City of Bones, not necessarily the Mortal Instrument series as a whole because I've not finished it yet. I've only read this one alone and a bit of City of Ashes, but I can safely say that the majority of characters in this universe piss me off majorly, namely this one, Jace. If I saw that guy, I would smack him upside his arrogant little face. I really would. So Jace shits me to tears. I really don't like Clary either. She's a dimwit. So, yeah. As many of you know, I tend not to like a lot of the character cliches that are in paranormal romance in YA. It just drives me up the freaking wall. So, yeah. Do not like Jace or Clary at all. And I really don't like Megan or Ash in the Iron Fae series. So they also drive me insane. And again, I've not finished the series. I'm not up to date with it. I've only read the first 3. First 3? First 2. No, I've only read the first 2. There you go. So I've got some catching up to do there as well, and I'm really reluctant to because I don't like really anybody except like 2 characters, and I hate the protagonist, I hate them. So yeah, those books tend to make me angry, but for the most part the books that have really pissed me off I don't have anymore because I don't want to keep them, I do not want to see them, and often if I'm really mad I won't finish them either, so they're never complete reads, so I can't really give a proper evaluation because I don't bother finishing them. What book makes you nostalgic? This is one I picked. I should have tried to hunt down my Babysitters Club. I used to have like over 100 Babysitters Club books by Anne M. Martin, and I kept like my top 10 favourite ones and my complete guide, which has a map of Stony Brook. Oh yeah. So obviously Babysitter's Club is a surefire link to nostalgia. But when I picked this Little Women by Louisa May Alcott, because it reminds me of being 12 and when I was reading my classics and just loving the March sisters and spending time with them. So yeah, Little Women. What book makes you scared? I don't read horror novels because I scare very easily and I don't enjoy being scared. So I decided to pick, instead of scared, I decided to pick disturbed as a kind of scared thing. And I tend to get disturbed in novels when topics and subject matter arises that I'm uncomfortable with or I'm at odds with. So, and it often tends to be, I always feel like I'm sounding evil when I say this, but I'm very anti-maternal. It's just me. It's just my innate sensibility and opinion, and I don't want to impose it on anybody or make a wider commentary. It's just me. So I do get very uncomfortable in books that deal very directly with childbirth, but also with a woman's role as being a mother and that kind of stuff. So that often makes me incredibly uneasy. So, for example, I've got the novels Birthmarked and Prized, and I tried reading Birthmarked a while back. I think I only got up to I got 100 or so pages in at least, but I was getting really uncomfortable with what was going on and the overall theme of what was happening thus far, and I had to kind of put it down because I was just getting too so yeah, that made me very uneasy. Another book that kind of just freaked me out in terms of I was just so disgusted with what was happening would be Wither by Lauren DeStefano, and I'll link my ranty McRant review in the doobly-doo in my pants for that. So yeah, that's the kind of scared I get. But in terms of getting like freaked out in a sort of fun way, often fairy tale retellings will do that for me. So like the fairy tale retellings you can find in Tales from the Tower Volumes 1 and 2. Freaked the crap out of me, some of them. Neil Gaiman's fairy tale retellings that are in Smoke and Mirrors, and Angela Carter's The Bloody Chamber. So those are some creepy things that mainly just like not necessarily scary as in boo, but just unnerving. A book that makes you surprised. I think that I was like, I tend to get pleasantly surprised by novels I don't have any real expectation of. So an example, a recent-ish example would be like something like Love Shy by Lily Wilkinson, because it had a sort of corny premise and I thought, oh, it's not going to appeal to me, but then once I got into it, just the way it was written, and that was just really pleasantly engaging and fun and entertaining. So yeah, that was certainly just a very pleasant surprise in terms of being a really positive read. So disappointed. Oh my, I don't have it with me, but the number one book that occurred to me when I saw that was Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. And the reason for that is, again, I'll link that ranty McRanty review in the doobly-doo in my pants, but for me, that book had so much potential and there was so much I was loving about it in the beginning, and then it went downhill once the romance came in and I was so upset. I felt hurt by the fact that the romance ruined a book that I was honestly loving. So disappointed majorly with Daughter of Smoke and Bone. I will continue with the series just because I'm hoping that there is more of the magicalness that I was loving in the first 150 pages, and I hope more of that is apparent in the rest of the series and it doesn't get completely bogged down in the romance that is just trite nonsense. So that disappointed me. Another one that disappointed me, just because at the very beginning I thought I might really enjoy its writing style and its unique flavour, but Shatter Me by Tahira Mafi very quickly drove me up the wall. Again, we'll link all these reviews, I'll just link in the doobly-doo in my pants so you can see me rant. Distressed. Lots of books distress me, so here's some options. Okay, number one would be Ink Exchange by Melissa Ma. Lara can agree with me on this because Lara did not enjoy this book, and I can completely understand why, because we had a long discussion about it. But this is a book that essentially deals, through the guise of magic and fairy, it deals with themes of addiction and rape. So it's not a happy book at all. For the most part, Melissa Ma's Wicked Lovely series isn't happy. And so it can make you very uncomfortable. and it's not, none of the characters are necessarily very likable in the series as a whole, let alone this book. So yeah, it was a difficult read, and atmospherically it was even hard to get through because it felt very contained and very suffocating. So, but I mean, I very much appreciated it, but it wasn't an easy read, like, you know, light and enjoyable. Here are two books that, I mean, rather, here's a series, a duology thus far, that succeeded in really upsetting me a lot because of animal rights issues, and it's the Killer Unicorn series. I don't have Ascendant with me, I don't know where it is, but yeah, Rampant and Ascendant by Diana Peter Frund. Yeah, tore me apart in sections where the unicorns are in danger, and it just feeds into a wider commentary on animal rights and such. Even though they're unicorns and they're mystical creatures, it was just tearing at my heartstrings. Oh, I was crying a lot during both books. So there's also something that happens on a human level towards the end of Rampant that really upset me as well. Just in terms of the brutality of war, and losing people in a really horrific fashion, the Eon series, so Eon and Iona by Alison Goodman, was very upsetting and distressing because people were losing their lives in not very pleasant ways. So yeah, that's certainly one. Actually, probably the Hunger Games would also feed into that. Where are they? They're not back there because someone's borrowing them, but certainly the Hunger Games distressed me. And then there were elements in all of these books that upset me, but especially in Fire, I remember being very disturbed by some of the goings-on. This is Fire by Christian Cashore, it's part of the Seven Kingdoms series, and yeah, there was some stuff, like, because we get more backstory about Lek and things, and yeah, just, that man was a messed up son of a bitch. So yeah, anytime Lek's anywhere in a novel in these books, I was like, ooh. And finally, Confused. Right. Because again it's the most recent read that I can think of, I got a tad confuzzled unfortunately, in the final book in the Seven Kingdoms series, which was Bitter Blue by Christian Cashore. I didn't quite know what was happening at times, and I found all the plots that tried to intermingle, and then some ended up going nowhere, and so I was a tad bewildered and didn't quite know what the dealio was sometimes. So that would be a very immediate book that comes to mind for confusion, just recent confusion. So that was a really elongated version of this tag. I'm really sorry it took so long. I kept thinking of more books. So that is all for now. In terms of who I tag, I'll try and think and maybe link some folks in the doobly-doo. But I tag all of you. Have a go at it. It is fun, and link it as a video response for Padfoot and Prongs07. And that is all for now. Goodbye.